Foxborough High School has many different courses available to students who prefer to be artistic. If you like music, you can take a course that allows you to play music while learning and having fun with your friends. If you prefer visual arts, there are also multiple art courses available to students. Beginning with visual arts, we asked students what kind of art they do and if they have a style.
At the moment, I don't really have one. I'm still trying to develop mine. I'm trying to go for a mix between cartoon, something that's easy to animate, as well as graphic novel and with a little touch of anime.
I do sculpture. I'm in the pre-AP sculpture class. A lot of my stuff has like nature in it.
I do graphic design.
I do mostly drawings. I'm going to attempt to try to get into digital art and other kinds of works and stuff, but my kinds of work, I focus on paleo art. That is my niche, if you want to say. Mostly I just focus on realistic drawings that take up time, and I put effort into it, and I like to recreate something that we'll probably never get to see in our lives.
Next, we asked them why they did art.
I really don't have an answer to that. I do it because it's fun. I do it because I see the creative and storytelling potential that you have with it.
Ever since I was little, I like arts and crafts, so this is just basically advanced arts and crafts.
I just find it fun and relaxing.
It started off as a bored habit.
We also asked them when they started to create art.
I started 4 years ago, ironically enough, because I started really getting into webcomics and I wanted to make my own. And I asked a few of my friends who I thought could draw one with me, and they were like, I don't really know how to draw. So I was like, fine, I'll teach myself.
I started in 8th grade when I took intro to graphic design for an elective, and then I decided to keep doing that throughout high school.
I started off when I was about 5 years old. I used to hang out with my dad at his restaurant in Egypt, and he used to have these cigarette boxes that I would just tear open and just kind of draw on, and it slowly turned into more and more of a habit that I just do it like every day, and it's built up to the point that I do it pretty much every week now, and it just keeps me busy. It gets rid of my stress.
We asked them for their inspirations.
I do have several inspirations from both the country of Japan and the US, both from in the animation industry in both countries. For a Western influence, I would have to say that would be Bright O'Malley from the Scott Pilgrim series, and he also did a graphic novel called Seconds. From Japan, I would definitely say Kitsuro Otomo, who wrote and animated the film/comic Akira.
Inspirations? No.
No.
I do. There's a few paleo artists out there, Mark Whitten, Charles Knight.
If they had a favorite piece and what that was.
I do have a favorite piece. This piece was involved in my portfolio to send to college. It is a observational life drawing of a setup in Miss Trice's art class where she had a skull and a few books kind of stacked next to each other. I liked it a lot because the detail I was able to get on the skull and the fact that it kind of had a nice atmosphere due to the fact that when I was drawing it, the classroom had all of its lights off.
I made this board with a half a vase and then paper flowers. It was very pretty, if I do say so myself.
Probably we did a low poly project. It's like a picture out of triangles.
So, for about maybe 2.5 months now, I've been working on a new Tyrannosaurus that I've been trying to flesh out and create more of a realistic look to it. And I've just gotten new art equipment, so I have been slowly sharpening it and like polishing it up, making it look a little neater and better, and working on my shading on it.
Their most memorable moment through art?
Definitely meeting people and talking about it. When I went to Mass Art during the summer for 2 weeks, the best parts was basically just talking to people, asking them, hey, what inspires you? What are your techniques? How do you do this? How do you do that? That was honestly the best part.
Hanging out with my buddies.
Well, last year, my final, I did a gymnastics alphabet, and this year we entered it into scholastics, and I got an honorable mention for it.
There's not many memorable things. I could just say remembering like when I started with the cigarette boxes. That's something memorable to me, to be honest, because I remember how often I'd like ask my dad, hey, can I have some cigarette boxes? Which is not something you'd hear from a 5-year-old kid. And then I just draw on it for hours, and I just make all these intricate doodles on them. And yeah.
What they like about art?
I like how it's like arts and crafts. And I love arts and crafts.
I like its appeal. I like the fact that as long as you can visualize it in your mind, you can do it out. There's no restrictions or limitations on what you can and can't do.
So many options. And even though it's stressful, you can do whatever you want to do.
I just think it's a good way to relieve stress. I think it's a good way to calm yourself down, get your mind off whatever you're thinking about. And it's a good way to like get yourself out there and like have something to be proud of. Like, look, you did something. That's your work. You did that. Like, be proud of it. And that's what I like about it. Like, it gives a person self-esteem and like confidence that they can do things.
And finally, if they plan on having an art-based career, and if they are attending art school for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and go into the animation industry. I'm gonna try and work my way up to making my own show.
Maybe. I'll see where the wind takes me.
Most likely, yeah. Either interior design or graphic design.
No, definitely not. Art's something I do as a hobby. Career, I don't see myself making money off it.
As well as the classes these students talked about, FHS also offers a pottery class for students to create pots they can take home and use. This class helps students to understand the many different steps that can go into creating pottery. FHS also offers communication arts class in which students learn to create various video projects. We interviewed some of the students in this class. Our first question was, what videos do you make?
This year I'm making the senior video for the high school, so what that means is I'll be shooting a bunch of footage for like pep rallies and the sports games and other stuff like that, and then hopefully put together a cool video at the end of the year. As for outside of school, I've made a couple wedding videos, a couple music videos, I've done a couple promotional stuff, and it's mostly just been trying to make a little money to fund the equipment side of things, but after that, hopefully down the road and into college I can start working on like movies, and we'll see.
I mostly make freelance videos, some promotional videos, and sports videos.
So, videos we've made a few short films. We've made the silent film and the scary film.
We made a music video.
We did make a music video, PSA, and I've kind of helped Drew here and there with like edits and stuff.
Yeah, make a couple sports edits.
Currently working on a documentary. And we have a few more projects down the line, and hopefully more in the future. Past high school and that stuff. After school, things like that. And yeah.
Next, we asked for their inspirations.
When I was younger in like 6th grade, I would just like edit videos for like my brother's lacrosse team when he was like a senior in high school, and I hadn't really thought of anything of it, and it was just kind of like a thing I knew how to do. And then after seeing other creators on Instagram and YouTube and just kind of like seeing the videos that they were making, I just thought, why couldn't I make the same thing? So I saved up for equipment after working, and then I was able to make some videos and fund that passion. So.
I mean, I do get inspired sometimes when I go to the movies and I watch some of my like favorite movies, and I'm like, wow, I can do better. Like something I see, I get inspired by, like videos, movies, stuff like that.
And even by a couple of our students, like last year, Haley, she was a senior, and
Yeah,
she
Haley.
made some great videos.
She made some pretty good videos, yeah.
And even you this
Pretty
year as a
cool.
senior.
Well, I really didn't have a hobby or anything that I loved to do, and then I picked up a GoPro and found that it was a lot of fun, and I bought a camera.
Next, we asked, when did you start making videos?
Yeah, it would probably have to be 6th grade. My dad bought me a computer, and my brother's trying to get into college, and I was putting together a highlight video for him, and then he got in, and we thought maybe this might be a good way to make some money.
I started making videos around like 8th grade, and then I started taking it seriously just this past year.
Freshman year.
Yeah, mostly around my freshman year I started making videos. Around like 8th grade and 7th grade I kind of edited a couple things here and there, like at a summer camp. But mostly freshman year I started making a lot more for the class, and then this year I started making a ton outside of school because I got my own camera back in Oxford. We then asked what video was their favorite that they have made.
My favorite video? My favorite video? It might not be my best, but my favorite video is probably the music video we made in Mr. Callahan's film class, just because that's like a super funny class, and it was a funny song too, and the fact that we did it in the school was just kind of like...
Probably the homecoming video. was really hype.
So my favorite video,
Conflicting.
my favorite video to film was definitely the music video. The music video was amazing.
Yeah, music video was absolutely amazing to film. It was so fun.
And then we had the scary film. That was also really
Scary
fun.
film was also really fun.
Then we asked what equipment do they use.
I gotta make it like sound cool. I'm like, I use a Sony camera, so I use the Sony A6500 camera with the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter lens. I also have a zoom lens, and then I have a DJI Mavic Pro 2, and then I use a Zion Crane as a gimbal.
I use a Sony A6000 with a 55 to 210 millimeter lens and the Sigma 16 millimeter for the vlog. Hey guys, so welcome to the vlog.
I borrow a school DSLR.
I shoot with a Sony A6300. We use a shotgun mic for interviews and narratives, stuff like that. Use the gimbal for any shots we need to get walking. We then asked if they were going to have a career in filmmaking or if they were going to school for it.
I don't know if I'd say video editing career. I feel like it's kind of a skill a lot of people can learn, and then if like you just kind of settle with that, maybe you can like fall behind. So ideally, like directing down the road would be something cool to do. I mean, yeah, hopefully. Apparently, like the position of B is like a predator, so a producer, an editor, and a director.
Possibly. See where it takes me.
As well as visual arts, FHS also offers many different music classes. We asked some students why they did band.
From a young age, I feel like music, hearing it on the radio and everything, it's been a mode of expression for a lot of people. And we've been exposed to popular music so much, and I heard so much at a young age that Foxborough had such a rich and deep culture of excellence in learning about classical and especially jazz music. So I really wanted to involve myself in that and kind of get a more holistic view on an entire art form.
Yep. I truly think it's one of the most enriching things we can do as people. When I joined the band, it was mainly just because there was nothing else for me to do. But now, honestly, going to band first period every day really just starts my day off on the right foot.
We then asked what they liked about playing music.
I think the best part about playing music is being able to convey a different style and a different feeling, not only on your own, but also in an ensemble setting, where I get to sit with other people that have a common goal, all different kinds of people, and yet music kind of unites us and brings us together, I think, which makes it really special.
Yeah. Music is, for me, one of the only things that where I can connect with someone without speaking a single word. And honestly, I think that's just what's so powerful about it, and it really brings people closer.
Next, we asked about their inspirations.
Yeah, I have so many inspirations. I mean, when you play an instrument, listen to the pros, like you really try to copy them and mimic their sound. But then at the high school level, you also have like mentors that you really look up to. For me, Ken Eva, he was a senior when I was a sophomore, played trombone. And he's kind of a role model for me, not only because he's a phenomenal trombonist, but also just because he's a great person, and I aspire to be like him.
Yeah, I think something the program does really well is two separate levels of role models. You have, as Connor was mentioning, an accessible level of a role model, which is someone that you interact with on a daily basis. For me, Owen Basharone, a percussionist, was just a very holistic person and a fantastic musician. And then it also teaches us to kind of draw from professionals. So people, for me as a clarinet player, for instance, like Martin Frost, I think are great, and Anthony McGill have great sounds.
We then asked for one of their most important stories from band.
This is from my sophomore year. The jazz ensemble was rehearsing Wednesday night from 7 to 9:30 as we do. And this is when Mr. Massey was still in the school. And we were playing a ballad called Isfahan, and it was featuring me as the soloist. And I had poured hours into listening and trying to copy the alto player on the recording, which was Johnny Hodges. I had spent so long just trying to copy his sound and all his inflections and all that. And I played it, and I was really happy with it. And right after I was done, Mr. Massey, he stopped, and he just looked at me, and he said, "Yeah, that was great, a great interpretation of Johnny Hodges, but I'd like to hear more Connor Hoyt." And it was really that showed me that this is a program that continues to push you, and it truly does nurture a culture of excellence in Foxborough High School.
But I think one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen in my high school career, or my life, for a matter of fact. Sophomore year pops, Sunday afternoon, jazz ensemble's getting ready to start. Mr. Massey's introducing the band, talking about how they've been selected for Essentially Ellington. George Murphy interrupts, and out with a roaring cry on the trumpet comes Wynton Marsalis, the best trumpet player in the world right now. And he comes out and he speaks about how he feels about Mr. Massey, which I feel like was something so inspirational to not only all of Mr. Massey's students, all the alumni in the audience, and also just everybody there, period, whether it be middle schoolers volunteering. Just that speaks to the program so well, that somebody like Wynton Marsalis would come to one of our concerts to honor one of our retiring faculty members. I think just speaks to it, everything that Foxborough High School music is about.
And finally, we asked about their future with music.
Yeah, actually, I'm declaring a double major in jazz studies and physics. So yeah, I plan on continuing music. And even if I decide to go the physics path of my life, I'm going to keep music a part of my life no matter where I go. And I'm sure Paul's going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think for me, I will not be pursuing music from a career perspective, but something that Foxborough Music has taught us is music itself exceeds what people perceive it to be by so much. You know, I might not become a musician, and I don't plan on pursuing it as a career. I actually am interested in politics and political science, but what this program has taught me is to appreciate beauty in all forms, but especially in music, whether it be the music of Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Bob Mincer, or masterworks by master composers such as like Holst and Ralph Vaughan Williams. I think music will always be a part of who I am, despite my career choice.
I plan on either attending UMass Amherst or the University of Michigan.
I'm not sure where I'll be headed yet. I know the school will have a music program, but hopefully somewhere down south like DC or Virginia to pursue a career in politics.
In summary, FHS houses amazing art and music programs that change students' lives.